Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Aries in mid-May 2019. Hello, Aries. What's going on? How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. All right, guys. Man, this year is flying by. We're almost at the midway mark with June, huh? Crazy, 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 crazy. Anyway, Aries, shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. I will shuffle now for your outcome and your overall energy for the mid-month period. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up, that's when the reading begins. You can look in the description box below for the timestamp if you want to jump ahead. That's totally fine. I put it down there for a reason. Also down there is the information you'll need if you want to get a personal reading with me. As I've been saying for the past month or so, that reading that I offer is at its lowest price that I've ever offered online or in real life or anything like that. So if you've been thinking about getting it, I would suggest you get it now because, again, that is the lowest price I've ever set it for. That price will be going up on June 1st. So in the sake of saving you some money, book now. But also, in addition to that, on June 1st, you're going to see two different types of readings that I offer to kind of offset the price raise of the most in-depth reading that I do, okay? But if you want to do it now, save yourself some money, I totally understand. That's what, capitalism is all about, right? Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get you an outcome for mid-May, shall we? Outcome for Aries in mid-May, please. Outcome for Aries in mid-May. Whoa, 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 all the way over there. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Can I get that from here? I can finagle it with my foot. Boom. And it came in a sidewind position for you, Aries, so let's figure out where this is going. Okay, thank you. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and flip what came face down and figure out what's going on in your lives. And that's crooked. I can see that from here. We don't like crooked cards. Okay, there we go. How's that look on screen? Looks pretty good. Alright, guys, let's figure this whole thing out. Please show me Aries prominent energy in mid-May. Please show me prominent energy for Aries in mid-May. Please show me. Okay, thank you. Woo! Woo! That was a little rough. All right, Aries, so coming into the mid-month period, you come in with the Queen of Cups. And in case you're wondering, I say rough because, lately, I don't know if I've done it in one of your videos before. I think I did. My guides have, been shifting my neck sharply to one side or the other, to confirm when the energy is correct. And so I'm just you can just tell me. You don't have to, manipulate my body, but whatever. So you come in with the Queen of Cups. Well, you're a fire sign, so this is not you. I mean, it is you, but it's not you, as in it's not your regular form. It's not your regular energy, okay? Fire signs, not obviously, in case you're new to tarot, are associated with wands. But you're coming in with this Queen of Cups energy, which is water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So you might be dealing with one of those signs, but you don't have to be. You're definitely a lot more tender-hearted than you normally might be right now, Aries. I think you've got a lot on your mind. I think you've got a lot on your heart or on your soul or on your conscience. That's making you a little bit more sensitive or more reliant on your more sensitive sensibilities. A lot of right there, a lot of in the alliteration there. But you're being careful, or you're being a lot more tender and softer than you have been either recently or you've ever been in your whole life. People might be noting that you seem more sensitive, you seem more sympathetic in some cases, or you seem just a lot more soft. And it's not to say, you walk around like Cruella de Vil or some other Disney villain or something like that, and you're just this miserable, cantankerous person. I'm not saying that, but your heart is definitely closer to being on your sleeve than, you typically would have it be. Okay, so your sensibilities are higher, or your sensitivity is higher. Your sensibilities can be higher, or your intuition could be higher. Often the Queen of Cups is noted to be an intuitive character. So I'm just feeling you're in this feminine, soft, billowy, very effusive, very tender-hearted energy. And a lot of that is directed towards self-care. So let's go ahead and put that out there, because as much as what I was just saying might sound like you're walking around to everybody like Mother Teresa, like putting your hands on them, trying to like heal them with your powerful, you know, energy of positivity and all that. No, I feel a lot of this tenderness is for yourself. You're not beating yourself up about something, or at least you're trying not to. I should say that, because I do get, for some of you, not all of you, but there are a few of you out there who have like a tinge of guilt, or a tinge of embarrassment, or a tinge of low self-esteem or low self-worth going through this energy. There's like a little vein of that for some of you, and that's your, not your primary energy, but that's a part of your experience. For the bulk of Aries that I'm reading for, that's not there. But there is still this, I need to take care of me, I need to put myself as priority number one. And it's not in the typical, here we go, this is where you're diverting away from your typical energy. It's not in that typical Aries, me first, you know, prioritizing self above all others, because Aries does that. This is more like, okay, so the way that Aries might typically prioritize the self is in terms of career, finance, in terms of, you know, accomplishments, right? Wanting to be the first person to do this, or wanting to be the first person, or get ahead of the game in terms of, you know, a school project, something like that. Like you're really a pioneer in that way, or you're really ahead of the curve in that way. You know what I mean? You don't like things to get the best of you, so you like to be prepared, you like to be focused, you like to be out there making sure you put your best foot forward and you accomplish what you set out to do. Very goal-oriented and all that good stuff. Where you don't normally do that is in terms of what I'm feeling this Queen of Cups is bringing into your life. Reflection, rest, having time specifically set aside to sit down with yourself, by yourself, and kind of do a check-in with Aries. You know, you're usually so go, 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 busy, busy, busy. Let's accomplish this thing on the to-do list. Let's run this errand and all that. You're usually pulled and pushing yourself in all other directions, that you really never settle down and have a quiet moment to yourself where you're not thinking of the next thing you must do, and you're really thinking about what you have done. Here we go. Again, reflection. So you're having this, because I mean, look at this queen. She's really contemplating. I mean, it's not, I guess you could call it a cup, but whatever she's holding in her hands there, and the fish is inside, she's really contemplating that. And actually her eyes are closed, so it's almost as if she's having a prayer about it, or she's having some type of, you know, inner mantra that she's doing. So some of you might be doing that, and you, again, for the first time in your life, or something you haven't done in a long time, is take a quiet moment and really consider what's going on in your life. Where are you in your life right now? What does it all mean? Where are you? And again, it's not really interested, this energy is not really interested in what's happening next. This energy is what is happening now and what happened back then. That can be kind of dangerous, and if you want to, you know, not dangerous, but it can be kind of tricky when we think so much about the past. So I don't want you to get caught up in that, because the Queen of Cups can do that. She can spend a lot of time like nasal gazing, see what I did there? Nasal gazing. I have like verbal dyslexia. It's weird. Navel gazing, okay? She can spend a lot of time in reflection and really going over the past. So I don't think many of you are in danger of getting trapped up in that or tripped up in that. But there is that tendency to overthink, okay? So really taking in where you are, who you are, what you are, taking an inventory, taking stock of your life and the choices you have made, the experiences that you've had, the people that you've involved yourself with, the people that you love, the people that you've lost. Like this is the gamut, guys. So apply it to this most significant situation in your life or wherever it fits the most. Because some of you, this is like work and your career. Others, this is family. Others, this is lovers and husbands and wives. And others, this is like relationships with your children. It's the gamut, okay? So I can't pinpoint exactly where it's hitting primarily. But to me, there's a softness there that you need. And if you're not doing it, I would suggest you get into that energy, because I think, you know, I'm not going to say you need to treat yourself nicely because you haven't done anything wrong. Let me tell you that about the Queen of Cups. Thank you. Pick it back up. They're so bossy. The Queen of Cups is not without fault. She often experiences a lot of discomfort because she realizes her involvement in a situation or in circumstances that wasn't so beneficial, or she allowed things to happen and sat idly by. Something like that. She's a realist in that way. And sometimes when you're a realist, Aries, and I'm sure many of you know this, you have to swallow a lot of bitter pills, you have to eat a lot of humble pie, and you have to really look at yourself and see, how did I allow myself to get into that situation? Or why did I allow this to go that far, etc., etc. And there could be, especially with the Queen of Cups energy, so that's why I'm trying to highlight this to you. The Queen of Cups then can take it a little too far and begin to blame herself and become a scapegoat and become a martyr and become somebody who revels in the pain or revels in the trials and the tribulations as if it's some type of bravery test. And that's not the issue here. I think you want to err on the side just before she gets to that extreme and stay in the realist zone of, I had some hand in this, they had hand in this, circumstances were not in my favor, etc., etc., and just kind of ponder it for a moment and then move on. Now, for some, I think you might need to do some proactive work with that. So you might need to journal. You might need to see a therapist or a counselor. You might need to talk to a friend and kind of just sound out your ideas, or vent your frustrations, or vent the things that have been plaguing you or things that have been bothering you. Some of you need this outlet. As much as you're reflecting, as much as you're spending time with yourself, I wouldn't want you to hold that energy and do nothing with it. Okay, that's another thing that the Queen of Cups can do with her reflection, is that she keeps it all inside. Again, with that martyr energy, I'll take the hit. I'll be so brave and so valiant because nobody should suffer by themselves. So if you find yourself struggling to get over something or to make sense of something or to release something, go and see someone else. Talk to them or journal it out, or go to one of those like axe throwing rooms or a break room. I don't know what you call them, a breaking room or a rage room or whatever, where you literally pay an establishment to break shit. Some of you have a lot of rage that needs to be let off, steam that needs to be let off, okay? Others, it's just a matter of an honest conversation with someone else once you've thought about some things on your own, etc., 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 okay? So a lot of stuff going on here in your Queen of Cups energy. Very interesting. Now, what's going on elsewhere? Well, shit, right next door. Hello. Three of Swords. So that might explain why we're in this slightly mopey, but then also still trying to be realistic, trying to be practical about why you might feel mopey, why you might feel depressed, why you might feel, so upset emotionally. Three of Swords right next door. So, as you know, guys, you've been with me for a while, or if you're new, welcome. Here's what I do. I don't automatically go to third-party situation. Most of you guys, if you've been with me for a minute, you know I don't do that. But today's the day. And I'm trying to make light of it because obviously for many of you, this is not going to be easy to hear or easy to really reflect upon. But this straight up has been a third-party situation for a good portion of you. Not all, of course, but a good portion of you have experienced third-party situation. Now, the continued caveat on my channel with the third-party situation is it doesn't always have to be romantic. If you are in a marriage or in some type of commitment or dating or you know, having a friends with benefits thing, but there's like a complication with emotions, whatever it is, it does not always mean there's somebody else that your partner is stooping or you are stooping. It doesn't always have to mean that. It can just be an interfering mother-in-law. It can be obligations. It can be addictions. It can be somebody scapegoating, or somebody just has a really close friendship with someone that you suspect they're sleeping with, but they're not, but you just cannot be convinced otherwise. You have to be boning that person. You spend all your time with them, and your partner is just like, no, we've just been best friends since middle school. I have no desire to have sex with that person, but you know what I mean? So the third party comes in all shapes, all sizes, and all manners. It does not always have to be about sex with someone else in an extramarital or cheating scenario. I hate to have to do that every time, but that's just what I want in my readings, because it's one of the things. I'm going to have a little sidebar with you guys here for a second. It really gets under my nerves, or gets on my nerves when I see other tarot readers. It's not hate or anything. I'm not hating on them, but I'm just like, to jump immediately to third party situation when a 3 shows up bothers me. And then some don't stipulate, although for their readings maybe that's how it comes across. For me, I don't vibe that way, because not everybody in this world is a cheater, or not everybody in this world is involved with a cheater. And there are other ways of cheating. Like I said, the third party doesn't have to be a person. The third party can be an addiction. It can be a behavior that interferes with your connection with your partner, okay? And it feels like cheating, you know? They spend all their time online playing video games. Fortnite, you know? And you feel like Fortnite is the other bitch in the relationship. It's just a video game, but your feeling would still be here with that 3 of Swords. You feel betrayed. You feel as if your partner doesn't value you and wants to spend his or her time with this other entity, which is, like I said, could be a fucking video game, okay? So let me take a break. I need to put that down. So for some of you, not all, we've got interference in a partnership. And that would be definitely a strong indicator or a strong reason for you to be in this reflective mode. What have I done? How did I get here? What have they done? How did we get to this point, etc., etc. And it's really focused on what's going on now and what has happened previous to now, okay? I'm not sensing much future. Not with your relationship, but your thought is not really, many of you, it's not really focused on the future. It's really about what's going on right now and what has happened that has led up to now, okay? All right, we're ready to get back to this. So, well, yep. That's interesting. So it might be a little hard to tell, but let's take a look at this. Because they're like, look at it, look at it. So the one bird that's towards the right of the card is stabbed twice. Like, we can clearly see that bird is stabbed twice. While the other bird, the one facing to the left, appears to be stabbed once. So they're like, look at it, look at it, look at it. In this situation, somebody feels, as usually is the case, I am more hurt than the other person. I'm more betrayed. I am more the injured party than the other person. So there's contention over who's hurting most, which from an outside perspective might be a little bit petty. Might be true, but it also like might it feels a tinge petty. And that might just come down to how someone expresses, I feel more this than you. Like, you know, if they're saying it in a certain way, you're being petty. But if they're reasoning it out, or they're pointing to specifics in your relationship, or you're doing this with them, then it might make sense and it might be a little less petty. But somebody out there is like saying that or making that claim with like ire, with like contention, with venom, okay? They're trying to say it to hurt you back, to kind of level the playing field. If I'm hurting at an 8, I'm going to say this to hopefully bump you up to an 8, so we're both suffering at the same frequency, on the same level. That's petty to me. So be careful if that's you. If you're the one who's saying that, mind your words. Because I'm not sure that making that statement on either side is necessarily helpful. Okay? It might be true, it might be valid for the person experiencing it, but what good does that do? Are you trying to shame the other person? You're trying to guilt them into feeling more pain? Like, why? For what reason? Other than revenge, other than, some low level, in my opinion, some low level frequency shit. Oh, So, in any case, anything else here? Because I really want it to be, because obviously, again, not all of you are dealing with romantic third parties, and some of you aren't even in any type of relationship. So here we go. Thank you. So for those who are single, Pringle, solo, dolo, you don't have any relationships to speak of, and this energy is really more focused on you and not necessarily with one particular relationship in your life. I think in that case, it's going to be a little more nuanced and it's going to be a little harder for you guys to recognize, but you have experienced some level of heartbreak in some realm in your life before, Aries. Again, for those not in a relationship, not really talking about, someone that you're dating or married to, or even someone in your family, you just kind of feel down, or you're feeling this reflective energy, but you don't know why. So this indicates, in any case, in any situation, there are wounds here, very fresh, or wounds that have sort of resurfaced after a long time of laying dormant, or perhaps being wrapped in a bandage. So maybe this might apply to many of you, if not the majority of you. You may have felt this is over. Like the injury has healed completely. So you go down to your garage, you bust out the saw, and you hack off the cast that was on your arm, your broken arm. You're like, it feels good. I think it's done. I think this is healed up. You take off the cast. Oopsie, it's not completely healed. So why am I using that analogy? I feel that there has been an attempt before now to heal a situation that either was faulty, like the attempt to heal was not executed correctly, or it was executed, but it wasn't it didn't mature enough. It didn't get to a full point of healing. So with that, what are we talking? In terms of relationships, we're talking about, okay, let's try and make this thing work. Let's make these changes, and then you guys commit to making changes, and then a month later, you guys stop doing the work. You commit to going to couples counseling, you go for 4 or 5 sessions, then you stop, okay? You say you're going to be more attentive with the kids, that you're going to be home early so that you can put them to bed, whatever. You're still taking on later shifts at work. You're still grinding it out to bring home the bacon, which has its validity and has its purpose, but your partner wanted you to be home with the family, with the kids. You guys can do without the extra money, but you choose the money. You see what I mean? Or they choose the money. It can go either way. You pick your side. So things like that. So there were initial efforts put in, but then the ball got dropped further down the line as we went along with these. Let's make these changes, okay? That's in relationships. In terms of yourself, or just this general sort of spread, or where it's not focused on relationships, it's like it could be in work, it could be school, it could be within yourself, whatever. You still would have made promises maybe to yourself, or you saw areas of yourself that needed improvement, or you set goals for yourself. Because remember, I said your typical jive. Who are you guys? My guides are old as shit. Anyway, your typical jive, Aries, is to be accomplished and be goal-oriented. And so some of you may have experienced heartbreak. I'm putting it in quotes, but your heartbreak is still just as valid as if you were dealing with a romantic partner. But your heartbreak may have come, Aries, where you had certain goals for yourself, expectations for yourself, and either you weren't able to accomplish them, you didn't hit them, they didn't come out the way that you wanted them to, and now you're feeling remorseful, or you're feeling saddened and let down by your own efforts. Which is interesting, because for that group, there's some of you in that group where your best effort just wasn't good enough. And maybe that's like the first time you've experienced that energy to be rejected from a job, rejected from a project, or rejected. Maybe you were in need of money and you went to a bank and you went to or a credit union and you needed a loan and you thought you were in good credit worthy standing. Apparently not. They said no. And now you're kind of scrambling backwards. Like you're knocked back. Like, you know, you stumble backwards. All of you stumble backwards. Because this thing here, regardless of your situation, you're having a harder time getting over this. Okay? Whether you've put in the effort and dropped the ball, or whether you've experienced a heartbreak or disappointment for the first time and you don't know how to recover. Yikes. The whole thing is a yikes. Okay? Now, what's going on up here? Stuck. Yep. Okay. Thank you. So this is talking a little bit here, and that makes sense because, again, I feel some of you could have this tendency or could get aligned with that Queen of Cups aspect of reflecting too much, being in your head or in your feels too much. That's slightly reflected here with this Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords talks about, as you can see, being blinded, being stuck, being convinced that there is no hope, that there is no solution, that there is no way out. And traditionally in this card, you'll see a woman tied up and she's surrounded by swords. And this one, she's blindfolded, so they've got that part. But regardless of the imagery here, that feeling of being stuck and surrounded by swords. Now, swords, if you're unfamiliar with tarot, represents your mental capacities, your thoughts, your rationale, the way that you communicate, the way that you receive communication, all that good stuff. And when she's surrounded in that original artwork, it's as if she's in a prison, right? It's as if the swords act as bars on a prison gate in which she cannot move past. But if you know that imagery well, or you've seen something similar to it, you know that the ribbon that she's tied with is very loose, so she can just shimmy out of that. And once she shimmies out of it, she can get that blindfold off of her face, and she will see that the swords actually don't surround her. There's actually a pretty wide open berth or area that she can just walk away from it. So here we are. You're in that mode. You might share this energy with someone else, maybe also. Thank you. Look at the knot. Is that your mind? Is that how you feel? Is that what's going on inside of you right now, Aries? This knotted feeling, this tense, angsty feeling inside of you, in your brain, in your gut, wherever. As much as I'm telling you, you can get over that, you're gonna call bullshit on me. Because again, the traditional understanding of this card is you can overcome it. You just have to see your circumstances or conceptualize your circumstances in a different way. The woman, again, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck or similar decks, if she had any sense of awareness that the swords were not encasing her, that she could unbind herself by shimmying out of her ropes or her ribbon or whatever, and her legs, from what we can tell, aren't bound together, so she has the ability to move away. So in some cases, that could be it. You have the ability to walk away, Aries. Either physically or metaphorically, you have the ability to walk away. If you walk into a room with your friends there, your family members there, and you know it's a contentious energy, you know that an argument's going to break out, or you know that you don't get along with your Uncle Teddy, so why would I go sit in a room with Uncle Teddy? Don't go into the room with Uncle Teddy. Go somewhere else. Like, if you have that capability, utilize it, okay? Act upon it. For others of you, it's less literal, okay? To overcome this Eight of Swords, which is rooted in the heartbreak of the Three of Swords, it's not, again, for those where it's not literally leave a location in order to avoid feeling a certain type of way or dealing with certain people. If it's not about physical location, right? In this case, I feel like you have to face it, because if we look at this artwork, we only see the head of this female, right? We only see the head of this person. And the knot is right in front of her. So I think you have to, because again, the corners are talking. Eight of Swords and the Queen of Cups. You have to take a very strong, hard look at what has you all knotted up inside. What is it? Some of you might not know, or you're not able to articulate it, or you, because you're usually on your go, go, go energy, what's the next thing, I'm on this, I'm doing that, and you're so busy outside of yourself, a lot of you haven't ever taken the time, and I think I said that when we were talking about the Queen of Cups, you have never taken the time to be so self-reflective. And because you haven't done it, you're not practicing it, you're quite a novice, or you're an amateur at it, or it scares you, it frightens you, it angers you, or it makes you feel insecure, whatever. You need to face it. Take off the blindfold, look at that big fucking knot in front of your face, right? What is entangled inside of you? What is churning in your guts that makes you feel uneasy? What is bouncing around the walls of your brain, giving you a migraine every other day? You know what I mean? Like, analyze this thing, because that's the other thing with swords. Analysis. Okay, we have to apply some rational thought to the situation at hand. And for those who are in like a romantic situation, like if you've been married a long time or dating a long time, and you and your partner keep trying to make this thing work, why? I'm not trying to be flippant, I'm not trying to be a smartass, but literally, why? If you've been with someone for a long time and you've hit roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, and there's temporary fixes, like I said earlier with the cast, you put the cast on your arm, and then one of you busts the cast off the arm, and the shit is still broken, it never got fully healed, it was never repaired to its full capacity again, why do you keep doing the same thing? Sake of children? Sake of financial and marital status? Sake of comfortability? Sake of familiarity? Pardon my French, but I've been doing it in the past couple of readings, but fuck all that. Fuck all that. Aries, you know better than anybody else, and so it might be on your partner or whoever in this situation. How can you continue to be in a relationship when you are not happy yourself, or they are not happy themselves? You have to be a happy individual in order to make a good partner, in my estimation. You can't look to somebody else to give you happiness. You can't look to raising up children together to give you happiness. No. You have to be happy and complete with yourself. You have to be one solid individual, not half of a damn person. You complete me, you're my other half. Bullshit, I'm myself. I am my own person. You are your own person, and we come together and we make a dynamic duo. You see what I mean? So some of you are dealing with that situation where you or someone else or both of you are unhappy, but you continue to try to make it work. Why? All the things that you've tried to make yourselves happy, the therapy, going on a sexy weekend together, doing whatever, having children. Some people have that shit going on. You have kids to save the marriage. Say what? Say what? Why? Okay? So, a little bit of a channeling here. But I'm not feeling that whatever steps in that case, in those cases where long-term marriage or long-term commitment, where we've tried this after that, this, that, and the other to make this work, all that is knotting you up inside, and you're ignoring it. You're thinking that the things that you've tried are actually still the solution. Nah, man. Sometimes couples therapy is going to reveal to you, y'all shouldn't be together. Couples therapy is not some save cure-all that magically makes marriages work. If it was that way, I think that more people would go. But that's not the case. Sometimes that shit reveals y'all shouldn't be together anymore, or you're two different people at this juncture in your lives. Take some time apart, and then maybe you come back together. Whatever a therapist would tell you. I'm not a therapist. But you see what I mean? Some of you have really put a lot of weight, you basically gambled on fixing it. You've put a lot of energy and effort onto fixing it, and sometimes it can't be fixed. That's not for everybody in a relationship, by the way, obviously. Obviously. It's just for some of you. Anything else? No. Just look at that. Look at the knot, man. Look at it. Now, who's this? Queen of Wands. Fire sign energy, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Is this you? Could be. Some of you, thank you, very quickly. Some of you, once you go through this whole reflection, knowing that you're heartbroken and then seeing why and figuring out the root of why you're heartbroken, you get back to yourself. You get back to your own Queen of Wands energy, whether you're male or female, no gender, it doesn't matter. But Queen of Wands is my boss energy, okay? She is a boss. So some of you get back on top of your career, you get back out there with your creative endeavors, and you're feeling more like yourself. You're in control, you have ownership and knowledge of who you are and what you are, okay? So you get back to that. But only after you do this. That is for a small percentage of you who have been here for a while. You're pros at this energy, or you're pros in this experience. You're on the tail end of this experience, right? That's for a few of you. Most of you, like I feel in most other cases, this is going to be someone outside of you that you admire. Someone outside of you who can offer you support and guidance. They don't have to be a counselor or a therapist or anything like that. They can be your friend. They can be your own boss. All right. But it's someone who supports you, but also doesn't take your shit, Aries. Okay. Because that's the thing about the Queen of Wands. She's supportive. She's gregarious and all that kind of stuff, but she doesn't take no shit. She takes no mess. She suffers no fools. Very similar to the Queen of Swords, right? So you have someone in your corner, Aries. I don't know who they are, but they're also intolerant to bullshit. So if you come to them for advice, be prepared to maybe hear things you don't want to hear, okay? If you come to them for advice, be prepared for them to give you some straight up home truths about your whole entire situation. Because some of you might want to take the blame on, like I said, with that Queen of Cups, you might come to this person, your friend or your boss or your sister or your brother. Again, there's no gender here. You might come to this person and say, "Oh, it's all my fault, and I did this and I said that, and maybe if I did this," and they like are going to give you the share out of snap out of it. Because again, Aries, this is not a blame game. It's not you. It's not them. It's everybody. Everybody has a fault here. Nobody in this situation or anywhere on this planet is perfect. Right? So this person is here to give you that strong cup of black coffee that wakes you the hell up and gives you that outside perspective. I don't think you're offended. I think you need this because their fiery energy, that very strong, very in your face, very no bullshit, no fillers attitude and approach to things is going to offset that watery energy that you're sitting in right now. And again, that is your own energy, Wands energy, right? You're normally like that. So this person is in some ways going to remind you of who you are, of what you are, of your potential and your power. And they will support you and inspire you, but not, fluff you up and boost your ego. They're not here for that. If you're acting like a dickhead, they're going to say, "You're acting like a dickhead." I'm going to tell you straight up. I love you, but you're acting like a dickhead. Okay? Your outcome for mid-May, guys. 5 of Wands. So, things are contentious. I don't know why I said it that way, but this is not the most pleasant card to have. As you can see, these foxes are scrapping over these birds. It's just a fight. So some of you might have fights. Hopefully not physical fights, but definitely verbal disagreements, okay? Some might be experiencing volatile and very agitated conversations with people, arguments, right? Some of you, this is going to happen in a court. So, I don't know why you're in court, but some of you will be in court and there will be some, I think that's what happens on TV, the, banging of the gavel, but some of you will be experiencing, because the reason I'm seeing that is because I'm seeing two sides literally on a side of a room, and there's like a referee, or in this case, a judge in the middle saying, "Everybody calm down. We don't need to, get all agitated like this." So some of you are having court, and if it's not court, then what do you call that? Mitigation? Isn't that? Yeah, I think mitigation, something like that. Regardless, two sides of a situation, of an argument, of a disagreement, whatever, are having it out. Now the fives represent challenges, yeah? And they're surmountable. They're not long lasting. But man, this particular five is a doozy. You know? Some of you might go into conversations with other people, and on the other side, things will just never be the same. Based on what you say, based on what they say, based on what, is revealed, whatever. So and that's the other thing about fives. Fives are about changes as well. It's like a challenging change, or a change by trial and tribulation. You know what I mean? You have to contend with your point of view or your position. Someone contends against you, like a us versus them or me versus them. And then there's a little bit of a battle. And on the other side, you become a slightly different person, or the situation changes slightly. Okay. So challenges and changes with the Five of Wands in your outcome. Fire energy. So it will be a lot of this. Okay. A lot of colorful language, maybe. Like I said, I don't hope that's the case, but it might escalate to a physical level, because wands can talk to physicality and actual physical movement in the world. So be careful. Your overall energy, well, I wasn't even looking, but that totally makes sense. Death card, major arcana card associated with Scorpio. So some of you might be dealing with a Scorpio, but you do not have to. But the death card encompasses this idea of change and transformation. What is the ultimate changer or the ultimate form of transformation here on earth? Death. You're living, now you're dead. You've transformed in the most profound and permanent way possible. At least in this realm, it's permanent. You know what I mean? In the earthly realm, it's permanent here. So there's a finality for many of you, not mortally. I'm not feeling mortal death, but there is a finality coming for many of you. Drawing a firm line under a situation, a firm line under a relationship, and moving on. Let's just wrap this thing up. Let's take what belongs to me. You take what belongs to you. Or, we shake hands and go our separate ways. It's like some of you are having civil separations or civil, dissolvement of relationships. Again, it does not have to be romantic. This could be business. This could be, I'm never going to speak to my cousin again. Not after all that blah, blah, blah that happened at the picnic. Okay, fine. Don't. You know what I mean? But the idea is you or other people are changing not for the better. I can't say for the better, but you're changing for the definite. Certain things have been said, certain things have been done that cannot be taken back, that cannot be rectified or cannot be corrected. And therefore, you must walk away. They must walk away. Or if you guys stay together, if you guys continue to talk, if you guys continue to communicate and be in each other's lives, it's just not going to be at that same level. You see what I mean? So, yeah, not so cool, because I think some of you don't want that. I think some of you want things to remain the same, but that's not the game of life, my friends. Things do not remain the same. Things always change. Things always evolve. And I think you're having that sensitive starting position with the Queen of Wands. I think some of you are kind of having a certain epiphany, or an emotional epiphany about change and transformation, and the difficult nature of relationships, and the difficult nature of what it is to be heartbroken or to break someone else's heart. Okay? Aries, that is your mid-May. I was going to say message. Verbal dyslexia, guys. That is your mid-May message. If you liked it, there's a like button down below. I can't believe I was going to say that. Message. What am I, Scooby-Doo over here? Like the video. You can comment down below. Let me know how this resonated in your life. You guys know I love to read that stuff. You can share this on your social media platforms. And, of course, if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, guys. Just come on in. Come on into the fold. Come on into the village. We're a village. We're gonna become a town. Then we're gonna become a city. What's bigger than a city? A state, right? And then we're just gonna become a nation. How about that? How about that as a goal? The EmpathicFire nation. How about that? So come on in as a villager. There's a lot of land. So I can promise you good land. All right, I'm being silly. All right, guys. I'll be back actually pretty soon as the first Zodiac. You guys might be telling, if you've been here for a while, you can tell I do my monthlies on the Zodiac schedule, and then I randomize the mids. So I'm going to be back with you guys quite shortly in doing your June reading, so you have that to look forward to, and of course the mid months for June. I'm going to continue on with these, and at some point I'm going to do a random. Just hasn't hit me yet energetically. I haven't been inspired. The guides haven't said get up and do a random, so who knows when it's going to happen. But I know it will happen. I just don't know when. Okay? All right, Aries. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Take care. Bye.